What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Autumn Thrive YouTube channel, episode 1. I'm Peppy. Yeah, I'm gonna that's pretty much all you need to know right now. I just turned 30, I guess. A lot of crazy stories, twists and turns, how I got here to make this YouTube video on this YouTube channel at this time, but that's a story for another day. Right now, I'm just pretty much gonna get right into it. What do you talk about in your first video? Well, I thought it would be fitting. I kind of what do you talk about? Where do you begin, kind of thing. I'm gonna talk about YouTube. Sounds kind of fitting, right? I'm gonna talk about YouTube from my perspective, growing up as a kid. So YouTube came out in I think it was 2004, 2005, and I was in middle school. Just turned 30. I mean, I grew up in the 90s and in the early 2000s. Quick side note, they out of nowhere, we kind of got labeled millennials, but growing up, we were proud 90s kids. And then all of a sudden, we kind of got that label thrusted upon us. But we always, my generation, we're definitely proud 90s kids. But, as much as we love the 90s, the early 2000s were great too. It definitely had a bit of mystique to it, a little bit of edge. And I'm not reminiscing about middle school. I'm just saying, in terms of culture, it was fantastic. And YouTube was a big part of that. And I've actually had this conversation periodically over the years with people that YouTube never got the credit or the recognition it deserved for being far and away the biggest game changer, I think, in that era in terms of technology. It changed everything. And it was so underrated. I mean, like, it's global. And it's still here. How can you say YouTube's underrated? I know I'm aging myself here with this video a little bit, but growing up in the early 2000s, before YouTube, finding any media, like a video online, you've got to be kidding. It was a job and a half. It was torture. You had to have a friend who kind of knew what he was doing with computers, because it was not user friendly at all. These computers were slow as heck, and you would hear about a video or something, this or that, and it would take a day to find, a day to download, another day to have the bugs and the glitches worked out for a 2-minute video. It was torture, and if you missed the video, you missed out on everyone talking about it at school. And it was just the worst. It was discouraging. It wasn't fun. It was boring, and it wasn't worth it. And it really was a turn off to technology. And then one day, I remember the first time I heard YouTube, and I'll spare you the story, but walking in the halls, YouTube. Oh, it's on YouTube. Never heard of it before, and everything was before and after YouTube at that point for all of us. And it was a game changer in terms of convenience. I mean, talk about just overnight having the world at your fingertips. Literally the world at your fingertips. We just jumped 100 years in technology, it seemed, overnight. Just from the convenience factor alone. And I think it's overlooked because at first it wasn't really a social media platform. It was more for the convenience, for content, for educational reasons, and entertainment too, and people were just constantly posting, and it just got bigger and bigger, and no matter what you wanted, it was there. How-to videos. It was free. It was user friendly. It was such a game changer, but it wasn't really social media. So I think it kind of got, it didn't really get the credit it deserved for the exact kind of game changer it was. And I remember too, when it first came out, parents were very skeptical. I mean, adults were very skeptical of YouTube. Teachers would tell us, parents, you name it, don't go on YouTube. Nope. Almost like it's too good to be true. Like, it's gonna be here today, gone tomorrow. It's gonna give you bugs. You're gonna download viruses. Anyone could post anything, so you're not gonna get good information. Adults were very skeptical about YouTube. They did not like it at first. It was they just did not trust it. we loved it. And we were proven right because we're still here. And I remember that parents would say, "Oh, it's free now, but you're gonna get a subscription, and then they're gonna charge you like $100 out of nowhere, like left and right." Didn't happen. Didn't happen. I think it was a game changer in terms of convenience. I mean, to the moon convenience, like quantum leaps in that regard. And I think it also kind of put faith in the people a bit. It was like, yeah, anyone can go out there and post anything, like, and you're gonna get good information. It's Wikipedia was a lot like that too. Around the same time, like adults did not trust it, but like anyone could post anything. Like we were like forbidden to use it, like YouTube. Like we could not, like if we don't cite YouTube in your history project, don't, if I catch you on YouTube, you're gonna get the school. Like it was not liked by adults at all. We loved it. It turned people who weren't in the technology onto technology. And at that time, again, like people really weren't, like there were no like YouTube creators. People were just kind of posting, like, embedding songs and this or that. Like there weren't personalities yet. And I guess the views would be their reward, not the fame, I guess. And eventually it did more, like over the years, you start to hear about Shane Dawson, people like that. And, it made sense. These are people who